Hey up. Back in, are we? Having an house special? Course you are. Not as special as the house special, eh? There you go. Here. Was that your bally? Oh, well that ain't no excuse, is it? Should know better than to drink on an empty stomach. As my old mam used to say, seldom a good decision's made with an empty gut and an head full of ale. Here. Get them scratchings down you. Better than nowt. Used to be this old coaching inn, the Highwayman, known fondly by its patrons simply as the Wayman. Don't go looking for it. Ain't there anymore. Burnt down a few years back. We're located right out in the sticks, nestled deep in the moorlands on the edge of the county. A bit of a mecca for the rock and metal crowd. Good few now famous bands had played there early in their careers. Saxon, Motorhead, all them that were part of the new wave of British heavy metal craze in the late 70s and early 80s. But what kept the Wayman going, other than passing trade, was the club night they put on every Friday. Quite the event for those who like their music hard and heavy. They used to put up this big screen and project music videos onto it. So you could be listening to Wasp while watching Bon Jovi. Right nice atmosphere. Now, back then, me and the Wayman had a bit of overlap in regards to punters. But being out in the moors, it were a right bugger to get to. And to get back from, for that matter. A taxi would have cost you an arm and a leg. And not many city firms were willing to go out that far. At the time, our Nally owned this old Bedford SB. That's a type of bus, if you were wondering. This got me cogs turning. An idea started to formulate. We could ferry people to and from the Wayman. Charge them a tenner an head, still cheaper than a taxi, and make a tidy wodge on the side. What the taxman don't know can't hurt him, eh? Of course, Nally were a bit reticent at first. That bus were his pride and joy. But in the end he came round, after a bit of liberal palm greasing. Made us quite popular with the Wayman, sending a steady stream of customers their way. I remember the then landlord, Martin Roper, remarking that never in history had there been a better relationship between hangman and highwayman. Made me chuckle. But alas, all good things come to an end. Round 2003, Martin had decided it were about time to get out of the pub trade. Less and less people were attending the rock night, due to a new club opening in town. In addition, the construction of a new road had almost eliminated all passing trade. So, with an heavy heart, him and his wife Linda decided to take an early retirement and move to their holiday cottage on the Devonshire coast. The sale went through mid-October 2003 to a Mr. Ulf Pender. I know, strange name. The final rock night were to take place on the first Friday in November. Martin had promised that it would be a right night to remember, a fitting end to their tenure. Here, looks like you need a refill. So, the final Friday came. As was usual, all them who were going up to the Wayman started off in here and left at about 10:30. Usually I would have waited up for Nally, but Martin had said that they were keeping the Wayman open till the morning, as a kind of gesture of thanks to its loyal patrons. So I found it quite strange that around 1 AM I hears Nally come in. He's back early, I thinks to myself. So I goes down to the bar to see what's occurring. There's Nally pouring this girl a double vodka. She's sobbing. Beneath all the street makeup, I recognised her as one of our regulars, a lass named Wendy Gotti. She were only young, in her final year of college doing her A-levels. So I says to Nally, "Here, what's going on? Why you got Wendy with you?" As it turns out, far from being the amazing send-off Martin had promised, the night had degenerated quite quickly, and not in a good way. They'd arrived at the Highwayman to find the ropers had already departed for Devon. At least that's what the new owner, Ulford, said, which Nally found slightly odd. None the least because Martin had categorically stated that he'd be overseeing proceedings. But also because it appeared that most of the ropers' personal effects and mementos were still in situ. But he put it out of his mind, figuring that they were going to send for these sometime at a later date. Seemed to Nally the ropers hadn't given the new owners a proper handover either. The projector weren't on, and apparently the regular DJ, a lad known fondly as Dizzy, hadn't turned up. Instead, a youth who looked to be Ulf's son was trying his hand at the decks, with not much success. On top of all this, there was a kind of strange stench coming up from the cellar. A kind of mix of raw meat and cleaning chemicals. The Penders weren't exactly what you'd call welcoming either. If what Nally says is anything to go by, they were a weird bunch. Had this uncannily similar look about them. I mean, they were all family, so what would you expect? But it were more than that. They all seemed half-starved, emaciated and ragged, with hungry-looking slate-grey eyes. What's more, all of them had this strange tattoo on their wrist, Nally had noticed. Two wolf-headed men holding spears flanking a kind of stylised diamond-shaped rune. But despite the frosty atmosphere, everyone had tried to make the best of the situation. However, things were about to take a rather unpleasant turn. It all started when Wendy, feeling a bit peckish, had gone up to the bar to order some food. On the hot nights, the Highwayman used to keep the kitchen open and serve burgers, chips, kebabs, you know, the general takeaway fare. Of course, with the ropers gone, the kitchen were closed. No food, she'd been told, somewhat aggressively by Ulf. That's when his wife suddenly piped up. "You wouldn't deny a pretty lass like this a morsel, would you?" Nally had overheard her say. Seemed the woman had taken a bit of a shine to Wendy, and by the look of the grin on Ulf's face, so had he. The woman disappeared into the kitchen and brought out a bowl filled with this rancid-looking pottage, a gloopy mess of root vegetables, and some kind of unidentifiable anemic-looking meat. Wendy had been apprehensive at first, but Ulf's wife insisted. "Just for you, me love, just for you," she kept repeating. Not wanting to be impolite and feeling a bit on the spot, Wendy tucked in. Down one bowl, then another, then another. It were then one of the other punters came over. "Here, I'll have some of that," he says. "Not for you," Ulf's wife shoots back. Being a bit drunk and not wanting to take no for an answer, the lad made a grab for Wendy's bowl. Nally said he'd never seen anyone move so quick. Ulf was over the bar and on him in a flash. Course, that were it then. It all kicked off. That's when Nally stepped in and shouted, "That's it, everyone on the bus, we're off." Can be quite forthright when he wants to be, Nally. Used to work the doors down in Bristol, so he's seen his fair share of drunken scraps, shall we say. Anyway, as they were about to leave, Ulf's wife makes a grab at Wendy and presses something hard into her wrist. "She's trying to fucking burn me," Wendy says. Ulf's wife smiled. "I'll be seeing you soon, me lovely. I'll be seeing you soon." At this, Nally grabs Wendy and ushers her out the door. She were quite traumatised by the whole experience. We had a look at her arm and there was this diamond-shaped burn on it. God knows how the woman had done it. We eventually got Wendy calmed down. I'd like to say that were that, but that weren't to be the case. Over the next few weeks, every time Wendy came in, I noticed she were acting a bit odd. Eating. Constantly eating. Now I know what you're thinking. It's not exactly the weirdest of behaviour, is it? But the sheer quantity she was putting away. But stranger still were the fact that she were losing weight. And rapidly. To the point where she was starting to look skeletal. Concerned, I took her aside and said, "Here, are you okay?" She looked at me. That's when I noticed her eyes. They seemed to be taking on a rather greyish hue. All she could say to me was, "I'm hungry. So hungry." That's the last time I spoke to her. Later found out she'd done a runner. If rumour is to be believed, she was last seen on the city outskirts, heading into the wilds of the moorlands. To this day, I can't help but ask myself, why? Just goes to show though, never drink on an empty stomach. You never know what you'll end up choking down when the hunger takes you. Anyway, I can see you wanting to make a move. Maybe stop by the takeaway, get a bit of ballast. You know where I am if you need me. Just ring that there bell and I'll come running. I'll be seeing you. Have a good 'un.